Wow, it worked. Double tap to flip the camera. I've never used Periscope before, so as you guys can probably tell. I love this song. I don't know if you guys can hear it too. It's called The Shakedown. Hi, how's my day 3? My day's great. Welcome. So this is The Shakedown by The Score. Love this band, love this music. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for coming in. This is my first Periscope Live. Done Facebook, done Twitter. Thought I would try Periscope, see if I like this better. I have no idea. I'm still trying to figure this out. So you guys get the beauty of seeing my gigantic forehead with my hair all pulled up. Because guess what? I didn't feel like doing my hair today. Didn't like it. So this is what it is. Today I'm representing the Sports Outliers. And don't mind if I get super close because I'm trying to read. Arsenal 033, how are you? Thank you for joining me in here. I'm representing the Sports Outliers today. My buddy Mark Drumheller. I'm going to be on his podcast next Wednesday evening. It should drop that night or Thursday. We're going to talk draft strategies on that podcast. So don't miss it. Oh, someone else's first day is on Periscope too. Hi, it's my first, not really my first day. My first day going live on Periscope. But hi, welcome. Come on in. We're talking fantasy football. We should be, just right around the corner because it's August already. What happened to July? It seemed like that just kind of came and went. I don't know. Last I remember was 4th of July, and then things are pretty murky after that. I'm not really quite sure. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lauren Carpenter, also known as Stepmom Lauren. You can find me all over social media. That's right. It's just all over. All over social media. But yeah, July came and went. I don't know what happened. And, before we know it, it's going to be the start of the regular season. So we got to get on this stuff, right? We got to do it. You can find me all over social media, Stepmom Lauren. I also have my own website, which is stepmomlauren.com. I am a writer, contributor for the Fantasy Footballers. That's Andy, Mike, and Jason, award-winning podcast. The guys are great. I'm one of their writers. I love doing it. It's so much fun. Can't even describe. So, all right, so Arsenal, you want to know about auction drafts? I'm actually going to bring up a few auction draft things at the end. We had a couple questions on Twitter about auction. I personally am not in any auction drafts, but it's a particular beast. But I do know some good friends, some colleagues of mine with the Fantasy Footballers that write about auction. I'll retweet it. That way you can find it. I'm not an expert on it, so I don't want to give you like BS information. Then you'll hate me for the rest of your life because we don't want that. But guys, welcome in to the Friday Fireside Chat. I know, FDR's rolling in his grave. I had that tweet earlier, I remember who it was. But yeah, okay, I couldn't think of anything better. And yeah, look, fake fish tank Friday, fantasy football, doesn't work either. So Fireside Chat it is. Welcome in. It's Friday, guys. The weekend is almost starting. So we're going to break down some situations here that are going on with Melvin Gordon and with Ezekiel Elliott holding out, which seems to be the thing to do now. So you're not really an elite running back, nor are you really cool unless you're like, they want more money. Which, okay, Le'Veon Bell started a trend, and now he's with the Jets. So he broke everyone's hearts last year who drafted him or kept him in keeper leagues, and what are we going to do about this? So, hey, Tyler Belowski, how you doing? Boris, 96587. Got that out before it disappeared. Welcome in, guys. Thank you so much for joining me again. Lauren Carpenter, Stepmom Lauren, fantasy writer for the Fantasy Footballers, contributor Fake Pigskin, the Fantasy Whisperers. Also going to be on Sports Outliers with Mark Drumheller on Wednesday, and you can catch that podcast dropping Wednesday night or Thursday. So let's get right down to it. So Melvin Gordon, if you guys don't know this already and you're living under a rock, he's holding out. He wants more money. The Chargers either don't want to pay him, can't pay him, or whatever it is that's going on with him. I don't know. He wants more money. He's requested a trade. So far, that has been denied. So I don't know if that's going to change or not. Who knows? But one of my fellow colleagues, Kyle Yates, happy birthday, Kyle. Woo woo. Getting old up there, I know. Me too. The arthritis, that's killing me. Ask Todd Gurley. He'll tell you all about it. But Kyle Yates has a really good article about this for 3 landing spots where Melvin Gordon may or could end up. The one that is the juiciest for fantasy relevance would him possibly landing on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think that's possible considering they only have like $2 million in cap space, but wouldn't that be amazing? Come on, Melvin Gordon with Bruce Arians. Do we all remember David Johnson under Bruce Arians? I mean, come on, but that's unlikely to happen. Things would have to be very, very creative. So other two landing spots that he brings up in this article, which I did retweet. So if you want to find it, I highly recommend reading it. It's on my timeline on Twitter. Go find it. I'll retweet it again. He talked about the Texans and the Bills could be a possible landing spot for him. Fantasy-wise, this is something that we all need to keep an eye on every day moving forward to see if they are getting any closer to a deal with this contract getting settled out, or if he is going to be traded, and whether or not he's going to start automatically. If you're in a keeper league and you don't know what to do with Melvin Gordon, you're going to need to follow this information. If you're like me, who drafted Melvin Gordon in a very early league, I'm in the Scott Fishbowl, and we drafted at the beginning of July, I have him, so I don't know what to do. Luckily, hopefully my supporting cast around him is going to be a little bit better. I don't know, but let's keep an eye on Melvin Gordon. Nothing has really changed. So we just need to, hope, fingers crossed, that I know if Gordon is a Texan, right? That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. Very exciting. They have the money to spend on him too. So it's just going to decide, he's going to have to decide, Texans are going to decide. Who knows? We don't know yet. The other juicy storyline, which I didn't think would actually go this far, is Ezekiel Elliott holding out as well. He decided he wanted to work hard and go to Cabo, which I don't know what you guys do when you go to Cabo, but I work when I'm there. I do. They have really great Wi-Fi. I make sure I do all of my research in Cabo, and I don't drink at all or have fun or go to the beach. I mean, come on, whatever. It's a safe place where he went when he got suspended, I guess. Maybe he's got a timeshare there. I have no idea. But Zeke's in Cabo. And what's interesting about this is that Jerry Jones has doubled down, and he said that the Cowboys don't need a leading rusher to win a Super Bowl. So what is that really saying? I mean, Zeke has come under a lot of fire in the last couple of years, as we know. His suspension, then some off-season situation at a music festival, and the Cowboys have been behind him and really supportive of him 100%, and now they're not. They're like, nah. And Jerry Jones is kind of like, no, we don't really need you. Another interesting thing that the Cowboys did is they went and signed Alfred Morris. And I don't know if you remember this, but back when, I'm not trying to insult you there, because honestly, I had forgotten about it. But Alfred Morris was on the team and kind of filled in for Zeke as much as any human can fill in for Ezekiel Elliott back in 2017 when he had this whole suspension looming. So during that time, it was weeks 9 through 14. He meaning Alfred Morris, had 90 rush attempts for 378 yards and 1 touchdown. So they signed Alfred Morris back. What does this say that the Cowboys are preparing for when it comes to Ezekiel Elliott? So Jerry Jones has come out and said, we don't need a leading rusher to win the Super Bowl, even though that's what he's had every time he's won the Super Bowl, but that's neither here nor there. And they went out and signed Alfred Morris. Was that an insurance policy? Is that saying, Zeke, we don't really need you? I'm not sure. This is something we definitely need to keep an eye on, because Alfred Morris could be someone that you can pick up in the drafts if this holdout is going to turn out anything like the Le'Veon Bell saga and drama did. Let's hope it doesn't. Same thing with Melvin Gordon. It's just too early yet. Guys, it's only, August 2nd. So we just need to keep an eye on it. Let's not rush and rush to judgment or freak out just yet. When it's time to freak out, trust me, I will be the first one freaking out with you. And I'll let you know, and we can share in misery together. But that's about those two. Nothing new, earth-shattering has really come out with them, except it's trending in a direction I'm not stoked about. So we'll see. So right now, obviously, you can see behind me, I've got the NFL Network on. And it's training camp right now, guys. And there's always hype. There's coach speak. There's this guy is performing better than expected. It's so-and-so is just exploding on the field. Such great chemistry. So I'm going to break down a couple of the ones that really stood out for me. And first one off the bat, I'm going to talk about Miami, which I love Kenyon Drake. I also do kind of like Kalen Ballage as well, but I really want Drake to succeed this year because I think he actually has opportunity, finally, which he never had under Adam Gase, because apparently he hates him. Gase hates Drake is what I mean. But Gase is gone. Frank Gore is gone. So this is finally a chance for him to be able to do something. So, hold on. My iPad just decided it was going to jump all the way to the bottom, even though I didn't even touch it. I think my house is haunted. But it's neither here nor there. So, Brian Flores says that Ryan Fitzmagic, is actually leading the charge for the quarterback race over Josh Rosen. Interesting. Although not surprising. You know exactly how this is going to turn out. Ryan Fitzmagic is going to come out. He's going to just blow up for 3 weeks. He's going to be amazing. And then you're going to keep starting him, hoping against hope that this isn't the 1 week where he throws 4 interceptions and gets pulled, and he ends up doing it and you lose your week. So I take this with a grain of salt. Fitzmagic is a seasoned veteran. He knows what he's doing. He wants a chance to, prove himself like these guys do. And again, it's Josh Rosen. No offense, Josh Rosen, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to take of this, but again, I just don't see it going any different than they're going to be, they meaning Josh Rosen and Ryan Fitzpatrick are going to be kind of splitting chairs. Splitting chairs? Is that weird? Splitting snaps, splitting ways, splitting starting time, because they're going to be throwing interceptions all over the place. And because the Dolphins are probably going to be down, so they're going to have to throw the ball, and that usually happens is interceptions when you don't really have an excellent supporting cast of wide receivers, considering Kenyon Drake was the second leading wide receiver, reception leader, I should say, on the Miami Dolphins last year. Let's hope, Bird Alert, our good friend Albert Wilson. Albert Wilson. I have not been drinking that much yet, guys. I promise. Just a little bit. Just a little. But it's Friday afternoon. I'm allowed. This is my live stream, not yours. Anyway, let's move on. Andrew Luck. Situation for me, because I love Andrew Luck. Calf strain. Inherently not a big deal. They're resting him. They're making sure they don't push him too hard, which is great. Another note, Matthew Betts, also a fellow colleague of mine for the Fantasy Footballers. He is a board-certified orthopedic specialist. He's also a physical therapist. He does all of our injury reports for the Ultimate Draft Kit, and he does put out other articles as well. He's got excellent medical background, and he really dives deep into the recovery of these guys, what it's going to take to recover, and what to watch out for as we move forward from a fantasy perspective. I think it's the Fantasy PT is his handle. Highly recommend following him as well and check out his work. He's stupendous. He's also the host of Red Shirts podcast, Red Shirts Fantasy Podcast, I think it is. Matthew, you can yell at me later for totally, messing that up. Anyway, so again, not a big deal yet. Hopefully, the goodness I can take out of this is that maybe Andrew Luck will drop in ADP because he is the quarterback that I want this year. I love Andrew Luck, and if he can fall even further, that is excellent news. We just need his health to stay positive. We need him to stay healthy, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So there's a good way to look at this, and then there's a negative way to look at this. Again, something to keep our eye on as we keep moving forward. Oddly enough, Derrick Henry also has this same issue with that calf strain. Again, inherently not outwardly a big deal, but could be a big deal if they start pushing them too far too fast. So we'll see how training camp kind of works out from there with those two guys. But Andrew Luck, I really hope he's okay because I heart the caveman very, very dearly. All right, so Daniel Jones with the Giants, getting a lot of oohs and ahs from the coaches and the players and the reporters. They're like, oh, he's so great. He threw the best pass in training camp. Hang on. Tyler Bolowski, other than Hilton, it disappeared. It disappeared, my friend. Tweet me. I'll try to answer it for you. Yeah, Sam and the Monster Hunters. I do like Monster Hunters a lot. It's kind of one of those guilty pleasures. It's such a terrible show, but I do like it a lot. Anyway, moving back onto football. You guys are distracting me. I love it. Keep bringing it. It's great. So Daniel Jones is oohing and awing and super exciting. Whatever. I'm not buying any of what they're trying to sell. But Curtis Samuel for the Panthers is actually making a huge splash right now in training camp, and this is what we've expected to see from him. Matt Harmon of Yahoo Fantasy has reception perception data, which is exclusively in the UDK, the Ultimate Draft Kit, which you can buy and have it. Please just do it. It's awesome. I love the UDK. Anyway, his reception perception is in the UDK. He really, I guess, charts out and explains how he's a little better than DJ Moore, but he was injured, and then Cam Newton was injured. So this year, both of them are healthy. Curtis Samuel is starting to make a splash. I love this news. And he's pretty low in drafts right now. So he could be a great value, a great steal. I am buying what they're trying to sell here. I absolutely love that. Another interesting name that popped up. Have any one of you, have you guys heard of a guy named Deon Cain? I haven't. And I do this a lot. But it did kind of ring a bell. And then I'm like, who is this person? So Deon Cain is a wide receiver for the Colts. I think it's the Colts. I might have just messed that up, whatever. But he tore his ACL last year, and he is actually in the running to take over the number 2 presumed starting position, if you will, for the wide receivers over Devin Funchess. And he is consistently doing well in practice over and over and over and over again. People cannot say enough good things about him. He is a super duper deep sleeper. Yeah, awesome. So someone else had them in their Dynasty League. That's perfect. I think this is going to be a year where he starts getting onto us other fantasy players' radar. He's just been doing excellent in training camp. Definitely a name to keep your eye on. So, okay. I didn't even think I would ever bring this up, but the Godwin hype is starting to become real. Like, I'm getting so sick of hearing his name, the great win, the GOAT win. But you know what, guys? It's actually, it's starting to make sense and not just be like a thing that everyone's repeating just because all the cool kids are saying it. But here's a quote from Bruce Arians. He should fit perfectly in what we're doing because he's a physical guy. Well, I mean, that makes sense. Can't have to be physical playing in the NFL, right? We can use him in the slot. We can use him out wide. Better and better. So he'll never come off the field. Fantasy football relies on volume. This is promising. So barring injury, this is going to be great. He's going to get a lot of single coverage because they're not going to let Mike Evans be over there on one-on-one for sure. Excellent points. So I know everyone's been on this Godwin hype train, so I feel like it's a situation where you either love him or you hate him. This is a year, I think, where he actually has a chance. Adam Humphries is gone. So is Deshaun Jackson. So that really leaves two obvious choices right there, obviously, besides the tight ends who were in that position as well. And this could be Godwin's year. I don't know how much I personally believe it, but if you have stock in Godwin, go for it. There really isn't anything coming out that makes me believe that I don't like it. I think I'm just sick of hearing about it. That's why I'm like, But you never know. It could be a great thing. But those Godwin truthers out there, I'm starting to come around. I'm starting to come around. And then Andre, a whole bunch of numbers. Can I put my stock on you? Well, I mean, you can. I make no guarantees. Anyone guarantees you anything in fantasy football, they're lying. This is educated guessing. So do what you will. Like me, don't like me, put your stock in me. I don't really care. I'm not going to pay you dividends or anything like that. I can just give you the best fantasy advice that I possibly can based on data, based on history, based on projections. So you do you. If you don't like it, there's lots of other of us that do it out there, so you go for it. Okay, and last but not least, let's touch on Green Bay a little bit. All of those wide receivers that are out there, which is a super confusing core that we're not really quite sure who's going to be emerging as, besides Devontae Adams, who's going to be that wide receiver too that you can plug and play and not have to worry too much about. So far, it's been Marquez Valdes-Scantling. So it's been MVS. He is doing his darndest to make sure that Aaron Rodgers hearts him. And Aaron Rodgers does like him a lot. He's had a lot of really good things to say about him. He's quoted saying good things about him, and he's been doing really well in training camp too. So another thing to keep your eye on for that wide receiving core in Green Bay is going to be MVS. I haven't heard too much about Equinemius St. Brown. I have heard good things about Geronimo Allison too, but so far MVS seems to be leading that charge. Obviously, behind Devontae Adams. So, and see, it seems like it's split. So, Tyler, you really like Geronimo Allison. I don't blame you for that. I mean, it's so hard to figure out. This is just the hype that's coming out. This is training camp hype. I read it, repeating it to you guys in case you might have missed it. So, there's that. But that's all the training camp hype I have. There's so much of it. I could be doing this all day. So, I just kind of decided to pull some little pieces here and there and put them in together for you in our Friday Fireside chat right here. But I asked you guys, and you were so great coming back to me for some questions, things that you want to know, either about me or about your team or about fantasy football or whatever. And hey, Docman77, how you doing? And let's see. And oh, hey, what are the odds? How you doing, guys? Another great podcast. Follow them, guys. So they asked, get a Green Bay wide receiver at a value. It will be worth it. I agree. If you can get your fingers on a piece of that pie, why not? It's going to be pretty prolific with fantasy points. But I want to get to your questions that you guys sent to me, which I love. And thank you guys so much, all of you, for doing that. So first one is from my friend, and I'm sorry, I'm probably going to butcher your name, but it's Michael Malaria? I don't think malaria is right. I don't think your name is a disease. But Michael, I'm sorry I butchered that. This is at Odin MDM. He asks, how will Theo Riddick signing with the Broncos affect Philip Lindsay and Royce Freeman? I don't think it will. I think the only thing that's going to affect Philip Lindsay is going to be Philip Lindsay, because Royce Freeman is getting a lot of those first team snaps. Philip Lindsay does have that wrist injury. This is kind of a new regime. They've already come out and said that this is going to be a split backfield, and I'm pretty sure Theo Riddick is going to do that role of snipering touchdowns here and there. I don't think he's going to be one of those guys that's heavily utilized in the offense, but they'll bring him in for special plays or, like I said, to sniper a touchdown and just make everyone super duper mad. And then he'll go crazy on the waiver wire, then he won't score any points the following week. That's kind of what I think he does for fantasy. Real football, you never know. That could be an interesting addition to the team. He was okay in Detroit. I mean, so I guess why not? But I'm not really putting too much worry or stock or not worried about it. You know, hey, whatever. And Theo Riddick does need to retire. I mean, please, so does Mike Davis. Come on, guys. This is a that helps no one thing. Just shoot, be gone. All right. And the second one is from Randall Galindo at Commando Randall. Thank you very much for your question. And this goes back to the auction leagues. So Arsenal 033, this is a kind of an auction question that you were asking before, but I'm paraphrasing here. He says, why don't experts push auction leagues? Are auction leagues the true test of fantasy football skill, or are there reasons to prefer snake drafts other than the sake of time? Well, for sake of time. So I really can't speak for other people, other commissioners, other experts, analysts. I can only speak for myself. And honestly, one of the reasons I think why analysts and podcasts and hosts and stuff talk the most about snake drafts is because it's the most common. And I think that people will relate to that because that's probably what they play. So for example, I'm in a lot of leagues this year. Not a single one of them are auction leagues. I've been asked to join many leagues this year. Not a single one of them have been auction leagues. Out of all of my friends that play, I have 2 people that I know that are in an auction league, and one of them, it's their first time this year. Joe Bossy, that's for you. So I think it just has to do with the popularity. Now, all of these experts that you're talking about and analysts, they do know auction strategies. In fact, another great series by some of my fellow writers at the Fantasy Footballers are about auction strategies. So if you want to know more about that, head over to the Fantasy Footballers because there's a lot of people who are far more knowledgeable about auction than I am because I don't play it myself. But honestly, I think the reason why it's not pushed, as you say, is because snake draft is more popular. Can you do an auction draft live? You know, like you can like a live draft board and stuff? Like, would that be like an auction bidding? You know, like you have like a guy who talks really fast and he's like, you know, oh, Aaron Rodgers going once, going twice, sold. I mean, do they do that? I don't know. That'd be kind of fun though. If you do that, please take a video and send it to me. Like tag me on Twitter or Facebook. I really, really want to see that. That would be awesome. And you said they do it on ESPN Arsenal? All right, cool. All right, and the Fantasy Football Goobers is a great account and podcast for auction. There you go, Fantasy Football Goobers. See, a lot of people know more about this stuff than I do. Like I said, I'm not an auction person, so crowdsource this, guys. If you guys know some good references for auction stuff, by all means, put it in there. Let the people know. So my third question is from my girl Faith, and then I hope I'm saying this right, Faith. Faith Rochelle, or is it Rachel? Rochelle or Rachel, 86. She said, what is my fantasy dream team? This is not a realistic team, everybody. So I know this probably could never happen, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's my dream team, okay? So quarterback, Andrew Luck. Hopefully he's still healthy. Running back, David Johnson. I love him this year. Running back 2, Alvin Kamara. There's no way in a million years I would ever get both of those running backs on a single team unless I somehow schemed and traded and was like super sly. So, like I said, dream team. My wide receivers, Michael Thomas, Julian Edelman, and Dante Moncrief. I love him this year too. He's probably going to be the wide receiver 2 in the Steelers. Love him. Absolutely love him. I have an article about that too. You can find it on my website. Tight end, Travis Kelce. That's a no-brainer. A flex, I wouldn't mind looking at either James White or Deshaun Jackson as my flex spot. And then for my defense, the Bears. That would be a great team. I think I could win some championships with that team. I think that'd be pretty stellar. So what about, okay, this is a good question. So Big Lou, 658. Moncrief can be a steal, correct, but what about James Washington? James Washington does have a shot. However, he did terrible last year. And he does not have Ben Roethlisberger's trust so far. He was called out last year in front of the cameras by Big Ben. He's been dropping passes. His catch percentage is terrible. And he's not, I mean, from what he showed and from things that I've read, he's not really that great of a route runner either. But he was a rookie. So it's possible things could change. But Dante Moncrief is a veteran coming in who has played on multiple different teams, 3. He can score from anywhere. He can line up from anywhere. He can be a deep threat where Juju Smith-Schuster does not excel. Juju plays in the slot, so they have to have somebody out wide that's going to be consistent and catch the ball. And that guy is going to be Dante Moncrief, because behind James Washington, they have Deontay Johnson, who's a rookie, and the Steelers don't use rookies very well. I mean, look what happened to James Washington last year. I don't have my faith in James Washington at all. Now, could they end up kind of splitting that wide receiver 2 role? I think so. And unless James Washington proves himself as a capable wide receiver who can catch the ball and make plays, I think this is going to be Dante Moncrief's position. Thank you. My husband is a lucky man, and I'm a lucky lady for being his wife. So, quack for tack. Everyone is killing it. It's Coach Speech. I mean, that's what it is. So you kind of have to read between the lines. Are you buying what they're trying to sell, or are you just saying, no, I'm just going to ignore it? Yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's move on with these real quick. So Josh Hudson from the One Hudsonian. Punny names I'm considering for 2019. Guys, I'm terrible at puns. I'm absolutely horrible. So I had to enlist some help. I prefer PPR, by the way, over standard, but that's just me. So the only one that I could come up with, which I didn't even come up with myself, I had to ask a friend for it, is Yippee-Ki-Yay Justin Tucker. That's it. That's all I got. I'm terrible at punny names. If you guys know some, send them to me, tag me on Twitter, let me know what they are, because I'm terrible at them, but I always think they're so funny. And yeah, hell yeah, Kerryon Johnson. I love Kerryon Johnson. My name in my league with Adam Rank is Kerryon Our Wayward Son, so I guess that's sort of punny, but I love Kerryon Johnson, even though he's with the Lions. But you know what? This year could be different. This year could be different. And I gotta say, this next one is, I think, one of my favorite names I've read. Berlissimo. Berlissimo 1. I like you. I like this name. So he's asked, how far should we steer clear of Zeke and Gordon? And he's been burned by Le'Veon Bell. I feel you. I feel your pain, my friend. So here's the thing. I'm a little bit more confident with something happening with Zeke than I am with Melvin Gordon. But as each day passes, and each day there's nothing done, I get more and more worried. So here's the thing. If you're in a draft and you're picking later, let's say from the 6th position on, I would avoid Melvin Gordon for now. Let's say if you're drafting this weekend or next weekend, I would avoid it. There's a lot of stud wide receivers you can get. And then late round, I don't want to say late, later running back value that you can pick up if you plan accordingly. But I don't think there's anything wrong with avoiding these guys. But if you're picking early and Alvin Kamara, David Johnson, Saquon Barkley, they go off the board, it's going to be real hard not to take Zeke. So that's going to be a personal thing for you. Are you willing to risk him holding out? I don't think that's going to happen, but you have to be okay with dealing with that. And how high do I look at Eckler? High. I look at him high. It depends. I don't know where he's going in ADP right now. I can probably look that up. So I can probably look up where Eckler's going. I do like him. You can pick up Justin Jackson late, but out of those two, I would definitely have Austin Eckler if I had the choice, for sure. Once I get this figured out, I'll see where I can find Austin Eckler for you guys. But let me move on here real quick once this page loads, because my internet decides that it does not like me very much. But okay, so in half PPR, Austin Eckler is going at the 709. That's not bad, especially for someone who owns owns Melvin Gordon. The 7th round is not a bad spot for him. It is still a little high, but you're going to have to be willing to take that risk. Going around him, though, is Will Fuller, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, and Miles Sanders, and Kyler Murray. So it's an interesting spot for him to go, but especially if you're a Melvin Gordon owner, you might just have to do it anyway. Just like, Todd Gurley owners may have to go ahead and reach for Darrell Henderson. It's going to be your personal take on it. I wouldn't fault you if you reached for him. I wish I would have done it in my Scott Fishbowl, but I got beaten to the punch for almost every position I wanted, but you guys don't care about that. Anyway, moving on. So, Frank, Devoik, I think it's Frank. Anyway, at fantasy_giant. He says, which is, I've gotten this question a lot of times, shockingly enough. So not just from him, but from a lot of people, because my avatar is Tifa. So he asked, am I a Final Fantasy VII fan because of my avatar of Tifa, or do I like her because she's brunette and because she's a badass? Frank, all of the above. All of the above. I love Final Fantasy VII. I watched Final Fantasy VII Advent Children movie. I watched it in English. I watched it in Japanese. I played the game. I got all the limit breaks. I beat the game. I loved it. I raised the chocobos. Everything. I love Final Fantasy VII. Love it. I love Tifa. Yes, because she's a brunette and she beats people up with her bare knuckles, sometimes brass knuckles. She was a monster and awesome and crazy good. I love her. So yes, all of the above. It is actually the name of my division that I'm in the Scott Fish Bowl, and Scott Fish, was so gracious enough to let me keep the name as the whole division. So how cool is that? So my avatar is Tifa from Final Fantasy VII for all of those reasons combined. No, I'm not a poser. And the next person who asks me, simply because Tifa is my avatar, if I'm just a poser or I actually like Final Fantasy VII, I actually do like the game. Yes, I played it a lot for a long time. There's lots of hours in that game. I'm just telling you. Anyway, moving on. Tyler Belowski, I got one of your questions here. I put you in here, my friend. So you said a game that I hate. I hate this game so much, but because it's you, I'm going to go ahead and play this game. It's Keep, Trade, Cut. Josh, don't you laugh at me because I know you are right now. Anyway, gross, gross, gross. I don't like it. So the Keep, Trade, Cut is Philip Lindsay, Derrick Henry, or Chris Carson. Really? These were the three? So, here's what I'm going to do. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to keep Chris Carson. I'm going to trade Philip Lindsay for what I can get for him. And I don't know if I even like this. I'm second guessing myself. And I'm going to cut Derrick Henry. He's hurt. I think he's overrated. I still think they're going to use Deion Lewis more, especially in PPR. This sucks. I hate this game. Hate this game. I hate you, Tyler. I hate you, Josh. And I hate this game. I'm kidding. I don't hate any of you, but I do hate this game. It's stupid. Thank you, Tyler. I did nail it, I suppose, but there's no right or wrong answer to these. It's a personal preference on what you want to do with it, but that's why. I'll keep Chris Carson because they got rid of Mike Davis, so there's only Rashad Penny. So he's going to have a monster role in that offense. I like that. I'm going to trade Philip Lindsay for what I can get for him because I think that he's not going to produce the same as he did last year. So I'm going to get rid of him while the value is high, not while he gets this split carry backfield with Royce Freeman in the upcoming season. So if I'm in a dynasty situation for say, I'm going to trade him for something good that I can get and fill in a need that I have in my roster. And Derrick Henry, like I said, I like Deion Lewis. You can get him later, especially in PPR formats. That injury does worry me. And although all the coaches have come out and said they're going to be tailoring everything around Derrick Henry, I still think he's going to have more bust games than I think owners are going to want. So that kind of scares me. He's not really proven to me yet. I know Michelle and Kate Majuk from Ball Blast Girls are probably going to kill me if they hear this, but I'm not 100% sold on Derrick Henry. If you love him, I get it. I personally don't. So, Arsenal, do I like Mark Ingram this year? Yes. I do like Mark Ingram this year. His biggest competition is going to be from the other running back on the team, which is Lamar Jackson. So we're going to, I'm kidding. Lamar Jackson's the quarterback. I know. Ha ha, funny. But yeah, I think with when you have a strong running back, it does do really good things for the quarterback as well. I think that he's going to be utilized very well in that offense, and it's going to bring some other ancillary pieces to the table too. So you got the Gus Edwards. I mean, he's still there. I mean, is Kenneth Dixon still hurt? Like, he's always hurt. So I think this is going to be a really good opportunity for him. I like him. Let me see where he's going in a half PPR here. Mark Ingram. So Ingram's going a little high. In half PPR, he's going at the 406 position. If you're waiting on running backs and you want to go wide receiver heavy, let's say wide receiver tight end, then hit your running backs, you could possibly get Mark Ingram in the 4th. That wouldn't be horrible. I don't mind that at all. So, yeah, I do like Mark Ingram this year. If he dropped a little bit in ADP, I'd like him even more. Hopefully that helps. But let's move on here. Another name that I absolutely loved, Hipster Doofus. How awesome is that? I mean, come on. Andrew Luck MVP. Totally agreed. Love Andrew Luck. But Hipster Doofus, and my God, listen, his handle is @lanky_not_smooth. Come on. That's awesome. I love it. I absolutely love that name. Okay, anyway. So he asked what to do with holdout guys, which I already touched on. So go back and re-listen to this, what to do with Melvin Gordon, Zeke. I keep your eye out. It's hard for me to say one way or another what to do with them. If you feel more comfortable avoiding it, I totally get it. But his second half was actually something pretty interesting to me because it has come up several times. So do I worry about morality in fantasy football, or do I draft basically just wanting to win? This is a personal subject for me. I do worry about it. So I don't draft players like Joe Mixon. I'm not going to draft Tyreek Hill. I won't draft Kareem Hunt. Not that I think that what I'm doing is going to have any impact on their lives. I know they don't give an S about what I think or what I do. But here's my own personal reason behind this is because I really judge these coaches and not fan bases so much, but I judge the fact that these gentlemen that have done pretty bad things are just forgiven because they want to win. And things can get easily overlooked by production. So I hate that. So what does that make me if I'm like, I hate these guys, but I want to win, so I'm going to draft them? That makes me a hypocrite. Because if I'm going to judge these coaches and organizations that want to give these guys another chance and basically just give them a slap on the wrist, who am I to be the person to say, oh, I don't like these guys, but I'm going to draft them? I just think it's hypocritical, and plus it makes me feel gross. I don't want to feel gross when I play fantasy football. I don't want to be like, ew, gross, and start. No, I want nothing to do with it. I think karma comes back and bites these guys in the ass anyway. Look at what happened with Joe Mixon. So far, he's been everyone's darling, and I think he's mediocre, but that's just me. And look at Kareem Hunt. Look at Tyreek Hill. I mean, there's lots of things happening to these guys. So I stay away from it morally. Yeah, I feel gross when I draft these guys, but that is not a judgment on you guys that do. So I am not saying that you're a bad person if you want to have these guys on your team to win. That's an awesome strategy. Go for it. Absolutely. I'm just saying I don't do it personally. And you'll hear me say that throughout the season. Not a big deal for me if you guys want to do it. Like I said, I'm just repeating myself at this point, but there you go. So these are a couple questions that I missed Wednesday when I said I was going to answer them, and I totally was an a-hole and dropped the ball and didn't answer them. But real quick, Arsenal, you said, who will be the 49ers start at running back this year? No idea. No idea. Probably Tevin Coleman, but we don't know for how long, simply because of the Kyle Shanahan experience that he has. See, yeah, that's what happens, so you just got to go with it. Yeah, you know what, Peter Howard? You step off. I don't get the vapors, okay? If you guys want to know what that is, go listen to my podcast with Peter Howard, Dynasty Crossroads. We had a good time. I had to yell at him a few times, but he got over it eventually. No big deal. So next one is from Jeremy. Is it DeLeon or DeLion? Don't know how to pronounce your last name. I tried to cover all three right there. He is at the Germinator 1978. He said, this is an interesting question, and I really am very thankful you brought this up, Jeremy, because he asks, with Allen Hurns gone, will Gallup or Randall Cobb, so Michael Gallup or Randall Cobb have bigger upside this year, especially in PPR. Michael Gallup, I think this is his year. Randall Cobb is whatever. He's not a terrible guy, not a terrible player, but Michael Gallup. I almost said Michael Cobb. That'd be funny. You just combine the two guys. We should figure out a way to have that in leagues. You can combine two players into one position and they just click combine points. That would be amazing. I like that idea. Anyway, Randall Cobb's okay. Michael Gallup, good. So I really like his opportunity this year. Last year he was a rookie. He didn't do all that well, but he got better. And what made him better was the addition of Amari Cooper. Shockingly enough, they're both wide receivers, right? Well, Amari Cooper is drawing a ton of coverage. It's the same wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 situation we have with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. But Michael Gallup's not getting any hype, so he is cheap. We're talking 14th round, I believe. Yes, 1403 and half PPR is where he's going, and I love it. So his first 7 games, he had 22 targets. This was without Amari Cooper. And that was 3.1 per game. And all this I found this data on Fantasy Pros as well, in case you guys wanted to know. I'm not just pulling this out of my butt. But final 9 games with Amari Cooper, he had 46 targets. That's only 2 more games, yet more than double the targets. This is awesome. So I really think this is Michael Gallup's year. And even if you get him and let's say he busts, whatever. He was in the 14th round. But I love him. Excellent question, Jeremy. And actually you put Michael Gallup more on my radar than even I was thinking about originally. So I'm fascinated by what he's going to do this year, and I have no problem taking a stab at him this 2019 season. Excellent question. Next one is from Casey. Casey is at Bean6095. This is a question I need you guys to help me with. I am kind of verklempt on this one. So I need y'all to tweet Casey. She is at she or he. I'm sorry. I just assumed. Casey. My bad. But tweet Casey your answer to this. And that is at Bean, BEAN 6095. Here is what this person asked. Superflex League, 8 teams, which I found interesting. 1 point per 25 yards and 6 points per touchdown, plus bonuses after 325 yards. So just have that being set. 8 teams, 1 point per 25 yards, 6 points per touchdown, bonuses after 325. So aside from watching the board, what draft approach should I take, meaning this person, and how soon should they get a quarterback, and how soon should they get the second quarterback? So this is fascinating to me because I haven't played in many super flex leagues, but I am in a league that the quarterback scores so many points that it is the first one off the board in our drafts. And when I mean so many points, I mean 99 points possibly a week. Not 25, not 40, almost 100 points. So we have to get elite quarterbacks that throw bombs down the field in order to have a shot in this league. And that is against every single fantasy expert's opinion whatsoever. Always wait. So I don't know about this one, Casey, because I don't mind you reaching for one. The last thing I would ever want to have happen to you is that the run of quarterbacks go off the board and you're left with like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. That would suck. So what do you guys think? I want you to tweet Casey. Let them know what you think, because if you want to go for a quarterback and you're willing to risk that high draft capital for it, I don't know if that's such a bad thing. But again, what do you guys think? I could be totally crazy. Who knows? Maybe I am. Most people think I am. Spoiler alert. So give Casey a hand. All right. Next one. And I think this is our last question. Yes. Last question is coming from Spartan Hounds at CLE_Spartans. Have I experimented with different drafting strategies in mock drafts? Yes. And which one typically results in the best overall roster configuration? It depends. That's the lamest answer ever, I know. But I've actually found that if you're drafting from the middle to later rounds in the draft, I go wide receiver heavy early, and then I go aggressive. And when I mean wide receiver heavy, you can also add a tight end in there too. So you go a stud, wide receiver, tight end. And then when that third comes around, if there's still a tight end that's on the board or still a wide receiver that's on the board that you want, then you wait until the 4th or 5th rounds to get guys like Latavius Murray, Mark Ingram, James White, Rashad Penny. These guys are available in those later rounds. Those have been interesting roster constructions that I like, that I wouldn't mind. And I think this is the first year for me that I would feel okay with doing that, but it just depends on where you're drafting from, what position. Because if I'm drafting early, I'm not doing that. But if I'm drafting mid to late, I definitely might use that. But always be flexible, you guys, when you're going into your drafts. Don't just be stuck on one, because as we all know, the draft is like a living thing. It changes. We need to adapt to what's going on. We have to make sure our smack talk is, just absolutely on point. So these are things we must prepare for when we are going into our draft. Bye, Tyler. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. I know I'm going a little bit long here, guys, but I just wanted to make sure I got to all your answers. But also, just real quick, Spartan Hounds, I'm going to be on this podcast on Wednesday, and the whole podcast is basically dedicated to draft strategies. So I'm going to talk zero wide receiver, zero RB, roster-based, things of that nature, and you can get a little bit more insight on what types of draft strategies you think might work best for you. But always be flexible, especially in those leagues that you don't know what your draft position is, which is most of mine, which I hate because I can't plan. And if anybody knows me, they know that gives me anxiety. I have to know what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and it ends up being a hot mess. But number one draft strategy, avoid the draft tilt. Speaking of which, everybody, do yourselves a favor if you haven't done this already. Go to my website, stepmomlauren.com, and in the sidebar at the top, you're going to see a link to the Ultimate Draft Kit by the Fantasy Footballers. This is invaluable. I have used this since its inception, years ago, and I love it. It's got tier breakdowns. This year, actually, it's got an app that goes with it, a mobile app. You've got red zone targets. You've got injury reports. You have the reception perception by Matt Harmon. And now you can customize it to how your league scores. So that changes the game. And they put so much time and energy into this. Again, I use this myself, and I have used this for years. So it's called the Ultimate Draft Kit. Go to my website, stepmomlauren.com. In that sidebar, click on it, buy it. And if you guys have any questions on how to use it, don't hesitate to ask me. I will walk you through it. Target share reports, market share reports, player profiles, video player profiles. It goes on and on. The thing is, it's insane. I literally wrote 2 articles about this on how to use it. It's awesome. That being said, go buy it. Do yourselves a favor. You will be very thankful being prepared going into your drafts. But, you know, that's all I have. Let me see if I can scroll here. Did anybody have any questions that I missed? I'm sure I missed plenty in here. So, if I did, yeah, not a fan of that scoring. You know, it could be super fun. My league is super fun. The one that scores like ridiculous amounts of points. It's kind of a headache, but it is pretty fun. And so Tyler Belowski says, yeah, I do. I was a guest on Dynasty Crossroads with Peter Howard. We argue a lot. Yeah, we argue a lot. He kind of tried to treat me like a delicate lotus blossom until I had to like put him in his place, you know, like whatever, dude. It's really fun. I actually have that on my website. So guys, if you want to hear any of my previous podcasts I've been on for guests, I was recently on Adam Rank's podcast, Rank Book Live, Adam Rank from the NFL Network. I also have a video of our recording on my website via YouTube. You guys can find my YouTube channel. I need more subscribers so I can get my custom URL, because anytime somebody tries to search Stepmom Lauren, all it is porn. I mean, I guess Stepmom Lauren has her own channel on Pornhub and RedTube. It's not me. I'm telling you, it's not me. But she's taken my mojo, and I don't like it. So I need you guys to go to YouTube, search and YouTube, not the other adult streaming services, YouTube, search Stepmom Lauren, subscribe to my page so I can get that custom URL, and I can bring you guys these videos as often as I can. I'm going to be doing this every Wednesday. It's going to be Weekly Wednesday or Wednesday Fun Day. Still haven't thought of a really good title yet. And then Fridays are the Fireside Chats. So Fridays are going to be about getting you guys ready for the weekend, maybe bitching and moaning about what happened on the Thursday night games. And the Wednesdays are going to be getting you ready for those Thursday night games. Some starts and sits, maybe some fantasy gems that you can pick up off the waiver or start who's on your roster. So I'm here for you guys. Plus, I like to talk, and I want to hear from you guys and see what you all think. Plus, I need your help sometimes, too. I always need help with starts and sits. So I'm just scrolling back here and seeing if there's anything I missed. Let me scroll up, see if I, blah, blah, blah. Oh, thank you, Arsenal. I really appreciate it. Wacky Wednesdays. Ooh, you're onto something there, Quack for Attack. Was it Quack for Attack? Am I totally said Quack Attack? I don't know. Weekly Wednesday. Or I'm sorry, Wacky Wednesday. Weekly Wacky Wednesday? I like that a lot. Huh. You guys let me know. Tweet me on Twitter, @StepmomLauren. Find me on Instagram, @StepmomLauren. Find me on Facebook, facebook.com/StepmomLauren. And of course, you can find me and all of my stuff at my website, stepmomlauren.com. Come find me, connect with me. I love talking with you guys, and I love answering your questions. So that's about it. You guys enjoy your weekend. Have some Tito's for me, or drink your beers or your glass of wine, and you go enjoy yourselves. And thank you so much for joining me. I love talking with you guys again. Come find me. We'll be friends, and I'll help you out this season as much as I can. And if I can't, I'll ask the people above me, like Adam Rank and Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, Mike Wright. I got like an inside scoop with them. I'll help you out. You just let me know. All right, guys, enjoy yourselves this weekend and stay safe, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye. And this is when I get really awkward and I try to turn off the camera. Oh, look, I don't have any boogers in my nose. Score. All right, guys, have a good one. Thank you. Oh, hey, thank you.